here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the.
All right, hey everybody, welcome back. We are the Tailgate Talks, and we're here with episode 17. Every time I hear the number that keeps getting higher, I have a question.
Does my mic work?
Mic check.
Holy shit, and we got everybody's audio working today. Guys, we know what we're doing again. We just had to get back into a routine.
We think we know what we're doing.
That's true. This
We'll
is
see.
true. This is true. But to all our supporters, we thank you for continuing to watch us and watch three idiots talk about sports. And we're going to dive into some fun stuff today. Obviously, no football this weekend for the first time in a long time.
Don't we have the Pro Bowl?
Yeah,
Isn't that
I
a
said
thing?
there's no football this weekend. That means there's no football.
Are they doing the stuff that they did
They
last
do the
year
skills
too?
challenges
Is
and all
Sulin again?
that
Because
stuff.
watching him push
Drake-
a sled of men was...
Drake
Watching him push Jason Kelsey across the
Drake
field.
May made the Pro Bowl, so that's all you need to know about that.
Did he really?
Yeah, there were so many alternates that they went down the line, and he made it.
First one since Tom Brady?
He had like 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I'm like, come on now.
Hell of a stat line.
Good for him.
So good news for you guys.
Oh,
we
man.
have the smelling salts back,
I
didn't see
and
that.
it is
It's aggressive.
called primed. And let me tell you what it does to your body.
Oh, no.
It primes it off.
Just so you know, Kelly, you might not get it, and then when you get it, it's,
no.
Get it.
you get it.
You get it.
You
Like,
get fucking primed.
pow! Right in the kisser.
Matt Prater time.
Yeah. We need to get the snaps.
Blake.
The classics.
Blake.
We do.
All right.
We
Well,
get a big bag of them.
we got the classic sugar-free. We are
Red
back.
Bull.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, baby.
I don't know if I'm ready for this. It's been so long. Me.
I miss the shotgun. It flows much quicker.
Oh!
Yep. Come on, baby, hit it.
Go! You're letting it out.
No.
I pulled out early.
Premature pull-out.
Hey. I love that you always shake it for me.
You're welcome.
Oh, I felt a double nostril. burn.
Kaylee's got pull-out game strong, and
It
I'm.
sits in there.
It stings. My eyes are still
fuck,
watering.
man. I didn't even get it. Oh, okay, that wasn't good though.
That was,
Oh,
Yeah, let me get one more. The boys are going. I'm going to bring this with me to my inspection today.
Fuck.
What do you mean there's something wrong?
have you been crying?
Hey,
Yeah,
we do have to
that's a good purchase.
special
Amazon.
special shout out Justin Visconti with First Community Mortgage. Thank you for bringing this and leaving it here. We
Yeah,
appreciate you.
We also might have created a monster because all he's looking for is
Smelling
getting that
salts
when
and
he
Red Bulls.
Yeah, all he's looking for is smelling salts and Red Bulls. when he gets
Justin,
them
we
out.
do appreciate you. Thank you
thanks,
for
buddy.
that. It is potent. If you guys haven't tried Prime and you like smelling salts, what do
Yeah.
you think? How you feeling over there?
I feel good.
You got to add like a teaspoon of water in there.
Yeah.
I'm having flashbacks
Holy
to
shit.
getting
Oh,
pepper
shit.
sprayed right now. My eyes are watering that much.
Yeah, that was good. Good shit.
Having flashbacks to
good.
concussions. Good morning.
All right. All right, let's start this bitch. We're gonna spin.
They see me rolling.
Like I said, kind of slow week for Detroit sports. No football, obviously.
Tough scene.
No college football. That's obviously the wheelhouse here. We do have basketball. We have hockey. We have some coaching
The coaching carousel is
carousel
happening.
going on. Maybe a little baseball talk. We'll sprinkle it in. But let's start here. Oh shit! It disappeared. There we go. Spinning. Ooh, I like it.
I'm scared.
The number 86.
Ooh. 86.
I don't know if he was it, but this is the first person I thought of. Thought of Hines Ward. Was he not 86?
No, yeah, no.
Was he 82?
No.
I'd go with 86 if you want me to guess.
Yeah, I think so,
That's
too.
who I thought it was.
Who's the line? Was Johnny Morton was what, 84?
87.
87.
My first 86 that pops into my head, and again, I'm Michigan biased, not a star at all, but it was Jehu Chesson.
Really?
It's my guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't
You got to go like sport by sport. It's like,
86
all right,
was. Did Weber wear 86? I feel like there's a good
no,
hockey.
he wore 98.
Yeah, that's what he was. God, that's gross.
No, it was 84.
83.
84 was.
Yeah.
I think it was his birth year. It might be. So
Okay.
that's why he did it. I honestly, I think you nailed it with Heinz Ward.
Heinz Ward, yeah.
I think Antonio Freeman,
Yep.
and then Jehu Chesson, my guy. We're not going to name any hockey players. We're not going to name any baseball players.
Todd Heap,
Heinz Ward was 86.
Zach Ertz. It's a good tight end number.
Okay, that's what I say. It's got to be tight ends or older receivers, pretty much. No, yeah.
There's some ugly numbers on here, or ugly like names on here.
I think Heinz might.
Heinz takes
it?
that wholeheartedly.
It seemed like it should have
Mike
been a good
Gesicki.
What about Jack Hughes? That's the 2019 number 1 draft pick for the NHL.
Oh yeah. No Hughes.
Rajon Rondo. When did Rondo
Little random Hughes story in Michigan. 3 brothers that 2 of them played at Michigan. All 3 are in the league or in the NHL now, and they're studs. Luke, Jack, and I'll think of the third one, but they were all great. It's funny because I think 86 should have been. It sounds like it should be a decent number, but
No.
a bunch of bums.
It's more of a tight end number than a receiver number, right?
Yep.
But Heinz wore it, and he blocked like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's that.
Antonio Freeman had some years there.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
What about NBA? Sorry, I'm still looking.
I can't even.
There's that.
I'd be
Heinz
shocked.
Ward wins.
I'd be shocked if there's an NBA player.
I don't think. Can they wear 86?
You can do anything now.
Before it had to be, it was supposed to be below 55, right? So you could
Every digit had to be below 5. Yeah.
right.
That's still like that with a lot of high schools and stuff.
So the rest can call it out.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, I like it. Heinz wins it. Sick blocker. Won what? 2 Super Bowls. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 Super Bowls. Talking about the Super Bowl. So we had a couple games go on. Winner goes to the Super Bowl. I know how I felt about the games. I think I talked a little bit to you, Duff, but I didn't talk to you, Kelly. Did you watch the games? What were your feelings? What's your thoughts? Obviously, we started the day with the NFC. Commanders, Eagles, in Philly. What was your thoughts during that game, and did you watch it?
So my first thing was I won a little bit of money in the national championship, and I rolled it all into a prop bet that was all 4 teams on Sunday were to score 20 points. I liked it. I look at the games, and I'm like, I expect all these games to get into 20. So my first thought was I just want points. I was at an inspection for the entire first half of the first game, and I just kept getting notification. Eagles touchdown, Commanders touchdown. I was like, let's go. So I was just happy about points. But the biggest takeaway, Saquon went nuts.
Yep.
They ran, and then the backup comes in and breaks off long run. Shipley, Hurts run. Like,
They ran wild.
I think they had 3 touchdowns each, and Shipley had a touchdown. Like 7 rushing touchdowns, unreal. And it just fucking burned even more that we didn't run on them more.
Yep.
So that was the biggest takeaway there. Commanders still did their thing. Jaden Daniels still looked good. They did. Ertz went nuts. But, yeah, man, and I know it's tough to commit to the run when you start getting behind, you turn the ball over. But, yeah, we don't turn the ball over and we just commit to the run more. It would have been the same game. We would have beat the.
I mean, Philly. I didn't watch the game.
Yeah.
I had it on in the back. I saw some highlights, but I didn't really watch it. I just didn't want to. And from what all the highlights look like, is Philly did what we were supposed to do.
Yep.
Well, and
That was-
Philly did to Washington what they did to us. They took the ball away. They have 4 takeaways, I think. The thing was, the funny part was none of them were Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. And
Like, that was the crazy part. Like,
it's just.
you got a rookie out there balling, and, like,
It just shows you in sports, too, man. Like, sometimes you get the bounces, sometimes you don't.
yeah.
'Cause-
They got all the bounces.
Yeah, and obviously with the Lions Commanders game, it was the opposite. So it happens that way sometimes. Not to discredit the mistakes that the Lions made, but it was a bad day. Bad day to have a bad day, and Commanders didn't have 2 of them in a row. So it was
Nope.
impressive for the Eagles too. That Jalen Hurts looked like he hurt his knee the week before. Didn't show any signs of it.
No.
spread the ball around. A.J. Brown had a good game. Goddard had a good game. Devontae Smith, big game. Saquon.
I like what he said. You know, he talked about success.
Yeah.
And then he talked about his stat line and stuff. Oh, you only had one touchdown. You threw for 250 yards. And he's like,
Don't matter.
yeah, the only stat that matters is the W at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter if I throw for 600 yards or 6 yards. Like,
Yep.
Well, I keep seeing all
the
the hate.
W.
I keep seeing all the hate on his passing yards, and
right.
I don't remember what show went off on him because he's at the in his press conference he said something about they let me out of my straitjacket a little bit, and I think some people probably took that the wrong way, like they were holding him back. Like no, he said out of his straitjacket, like he's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have Saquon Barkley, who I think is the best running back in the NFL. It's just crazy to see him as like Saquon go off because the Giants obviously held him back for so long. Can you imagine how many career yards he would have if he was
Did you
If he
on a team?
had a fucking O-line.
An O-line?
Did you guys watch Hard Knocks this past offseason?
didn't.
I'm sure you've seen clips of it. And
Saw the
stuff, but-
clips of it.
Who was this year?
So it was the Giants.
Yeah.
I
In
thought
the
that was last year. No?
it was this past offseason.
Oh, yeah.
And
I did watch a little bit of that.
the most hilarious in the worst case scenario for the Giants just played out over the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
And it isn't just Saquon. There's a
both.
clip there before the draft where his kid, the GM's kid, says, "You can't pass on Jaden Daniels. Like he's the once in a they had Dennis Jones, and he said, "Hey, or Daniel Jones, sorry." You can't pass on Jaden Daniels. We don't care. And that's a kid, and it's funny. And they put that
Like
in the
actual
clip.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, how often do you have a position like this?
Yeah, like
Go
generational
get,
talent.
Go get Jalen Daniels.
So first off, you pass on Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels did what he did this year, so that's one kick in the dick for the Giants. And then two, when they don't sign Saquon and the guy's in there and he says, "Oh, it would really suck to see him like end up with the Eagles." And now look, like
imagine having the two of them,
If you're-
Saquon and Daniels.
if you're a Giants fan, like you're already ready to play in traffic. But that I mean, how does the guy still have a job right now? And that's the backlash of Hard Knocks. Like with the Lions are one of the few teams that came away from Hard Knocks
Positive, yeah.
looking amazing.
Well,
Everyone
all-
loved it.
All of Campbell's fucking sayings they're showing now because it was like, what, 2-3 years
That's
ago?
because Dan fucking Campbell was doing up downs, drinking, chugging coffee on the sidelines.
The other one was what, the Bears most recent, and Eberflus looked like an idiot. Poles looked like an idiot.
The mid, I never
so
watched the mid-year ones
that
because I
mean
think
that's what it
there's-
was last year. I
It's
think.
hard
Cardinals
because you
did
don't
it.
really care. You want to watch
Yeah,
the
I
games.
didn't watch the Cardinals one either.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
weird.
funny how bad. Like that's a part of me why I'm really surprised Ben Johnson went there is because what I watched on Hard Knocks with
Fucked up
Chicago's
organization. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard. There's
Leadership.
13 million.
So does that
reasons
mean
why
It was mine. Yeah,
Does that mean Hard Knocks is going to be in Jacksonville this year?
bro.
that guy?
It's an option. That was so bad.
Yeah. Dude, 15 carries, 118 yards. I haven't looked at the stats for this game. 3 touchdowns. Saquon.
First carry, 60-yard touchdown.
Did you see Slay on Sherman's podcast?
I didn't.
Because he's like, we were just out there for a 17-play drive, and I was so excited, but I was so mad at the same time.
Yeah.
He's like, we just literally a 17-play drive. I look up at the screen, and Saquon's going for 60.
I know.
He's like, I was trying to celebrate, but then I had to remind myself, Slay, sit down. You got to go back out. Like
The first time I got a peek at the box scores, Saquon had like 3 carries, 68 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I was like, what just happened?
I mean, the whole sitting Saquon to be healthy looks like it might have worked out. So, yeah, I did not want to watch it because I was pissed off. Little did I know that I think if Detroit was in that situation, I don't think it would have been 55-23, but Philly's clicking right now. They look pretty damn good, and our depleted defense that we had, I don't know who's stopping Saquon.
Yeah.
No.
It's it was again, we said it prior to the Commander game. It was like that was our little, trial session against a mobile quarterback and it's a running team. What can we do? And we knew we were going to see it 2 more times at least. And yeah, man, it's with the biggest thing you always go back to is all the injuries. And realistically, deep down, did you think we were going to be able to run off 3 games in a row? I know you wanted to. I know you started to believe, and I kind of warned everybody after the Vikings game, and everyone was so pumped about how well the defense played against the Vikings.
It was just seeing them actually take out a game plan and produce.
Yes.
Because they couldn't do that.
Yep. So, It sucked. I did watch it. I planned on watching it. The only deal I had in my head is I got a multiple TV set up, and I was like, I'm not watching the NFC game with sound. I don't want to hear the Lions mentioned once. I don't want to see any highlights. I don't want to hear. I'll go all in and watch Chiefs Bills. But yeah, I just didn't want sound. I didn't want it. It was too soon.
And then so the evening game was Chiefs Bills. Couldn't not watch that game. That's just too good of a football game to miss that. Man, Josh Allen. What else?
What else can he do?
What else can that guy
game?
do? I mean, it's just Patrick Mahomes is his kryptonite in the playoffs, and it's tough, man.
What sucked too is you can think whatever you want about some of the calls that were made in the game.
That first down call was.
I think the first down call was bad. But at the end of the day, Allen had the ball the same way Mahomes has had the ball in the past against him, and Mahomes has beat him. And they had the chance. What more could you ask for as a Bills fan or as a Josh Allen? Like, to be down 3 with time not being an issue, and you have your chance. You'd like to see Kincaid make that catch.
The fact that he got that ball anywhere near him was insane.
And that's where it sucks. It's like we can hate on Josh Allen. I know it's Josh Allen versus Mahomes, but it's like if he makes that play, we're talking about this very differently right now. Because I think the Bills probably go down and score.
I mean, it's the fourth year where it's came down to the final drive, right? And this one wasn't OT, but that was last year, right? That was the coin flip, or was that the year before?
Year before.
Yeah, because they lost to
it was
Ravens, right? Ravens Chiefs was last year.
It was Ravens Chiefs last year.
And Ravens laid an egg. Yeah.
2 years ago is when they said what's Josh Allen's biggest fear, and Mahomes said a coin flip.
Yeah, and Mahomes is like, hey, Allen's a dog. We beat him. Like, it is what it is.
He is a dog.
I mean,
but it's like you just at some point, like I feel like I know Amari Cooper's a good receiver, but like I feel like when you're their best receiver is Shakir, right?
That's you guys have been ranking the Bills in the top. Your top, and credit to you because they deserved it. But all year I was out on the Bills until the Lions game. I kept saying I got to see it. Like, they haven't beat anybody. They haven't seen it. They far overachieved what I expected them to on the back of Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. But for the same thing you're about to say, how? Like,
I mean, imagine
Shakur, Mac Hollins.
Who? Mac Hollins got discarded.
Cooper or what's Keon
Coleman, who's a rookie, and he missed like
Cooper
6.
was non-existent.
So that's the other thing that was a big piece on this is that the Bills traded the Chiefs. Chiefs moved up, drafted Xavier Worthy.
Yep.
And then the Bills end up taking Coleman with that same spot, thinking that, hey, we got the same caliber player. Xavier had a game. I thought Xavier got hurt during the year. He didn't. He just didn't show up in the middle of the year. He kind of had a couple games.
The same thing happened to the Bills that happened to the Lions. Their number one corner went down, who was fouling. And it's hard to change a game plan when you've practiced your game plan, and this is what we're going into it. Like, I know you got to have a backup plan, but like
it's also like if we're redrafting Keon Coleman or Worthy in that spot for the Bills, I probably still go with Coleman for their fit.
Correct.
We've seen the Chiefs do this year after year after year. Tyreek Hill's gone. They lose Rashee Rice.
They need the speed.
Like, but Andy Reid schemes out a matchup, and he knows what he's going to do. Like, that Texans game, Kelsey had 8-9 catches, 150 yards, touchdown. Right. He got targeted 3 times all game against the Bills. He said, hey, take him away, and I'm going to abuse you with Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Hopkins. They got more involved.
Was this Hollywood's first game back?
He's been playing.
I don't like. I was like, where the fuck did he come? Was he here?
That's what I'm saying. They said, okay, we're going to use him today. As a guy that we do a FanDuel league, I played Kelsey like an idiot, and I'm sitting here like, is this guy on the team? Yeah. Like, what is going on?
That was very. I mean, if anyone had Kelsey in fantasy, it was very much, where is he? Or fuck yeah, there he is.
Well, that's if anybody ever argues that Andy Reid's not one of the best coaches ever,
fucking unreal.
Step foot on a football field is insane.
Because so Steady's the first to take 2 teams. This week or the Super Bowl. He coached both teams.
Yeah,
this is wild.
It happened last time.
It's already happened, but it's a second.
He did it again. So, like, he took the Eagles to the Super Bowl, and then when the Eagles and Chiefs played last time, it was the first time a coach had ever taken
both of the teams
to the Super Bowl, and now he's doing it again.
Yeah, I think now it's the first time that someone's won because they won. The Chiefs won last time. It's the first time that guys taking a team that he's won a Super Bowl with both teams.
Yeah.
But
I just think that, I mean, everyone, said things about Andy Reid when he was in Philly, couldn't win the big game. They made it to the NFC Championship 5 times in a row or whatever.
Yeah.
They went to the Super Bowl once, and I mean, you look at Belichick, dude was insane. But was it the players or was it him? A little bit of both, right?
How about Sirianni? I know you love him. Just no one.
Said no one.
Yeah, just fucking hate his face.
Yeah, they do.
Everything about him.
But he's there consistently, and I'm hoping Andy Reid is the source of that offense, right? And then his OCs.
Look at my hand.
You got balloons?
Look at Duffy's screen.
Yeah, I was in 2 screens last time. But it's Andy Reid's offense, and their OC just calls it. Who was the fucking guy?
Bieniemy.
Yes, that
Eric
was
Bieniemy.
like, he's going to be the
We
next
don't,
thing.
even, we don't even know who the
Dude's
OC is
in.
now.
Was he like at UConn? Where the fuck's he
He
at?
was at UCLA.
Yeah,
and
right,
he
exactly.
actually got fired.
Right, exactly. So I'm not
Currently jobless.
I'm just hoping that there's a little bit more of that than with Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell than I want to think, or I actually think.
Yeah.
that it was Campbell's offense.
Well,
that he was just a master at calling.
Go back to Campbell year 1 when he took over the play calling for Lynn, and we saw a very good turnaround. And
When
that
he
was,
started-
in my opinion, that was like the foundation for what Ben Johnson kind of, grew it into. And yeah, there's that question, who was more of it? Makes me wonder too, with us passing on Tanner Engstrom.
Did he leave? Is he still?
They're saying he's in talks right now with being the Jets offensive coordinator under Aaron Glenn.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, so we'll see. But
So I mean, this transition's great into our hire. So what did you guys think about the Lions' offense coordinator and defensive coordinator picks?
I mean, defense was kind of like meh. Like
So
you kind of saw. I guess the writing was already on the wall. Like it was being talked about the day after the game was done, before Glenn even had a job. That
yeah,
Calvin Shepard was
Shep was going to get it.
going to get it. Like it was an easy fill-in. He's going to run a very similar defense, I would imagine. So
I think the Shepard was, hey, I'm going to leave. I'll get a D position somewhere else. I want to stay here. They gave him the position. I was looking for a bigger splash with the D coordinator. I mean,
It was like-
there's a lot of names going around that I felt like could have done it. Not saying that I don't think Shep could do it, because I think he can, but I just think that other D coordinators or head coaches that are
defensive
have done it, and I think even if it was a year, they could have came in, ran that defense, which I think is going to be a very good defense next year, and Shep's learning.
Yeah.
He's never had that position, so. I don't know. Is Campbell going to have his hand a little bit more on the defense now?
I don't think so.
You know what I mean?
I think I've always kind of been in the mindset that when you got an offensive coach like Campbell is, he played offense. He knows offense more than he knows defense. Whether people want to admit it or not, you need a stronger DC to lean on. So I went into it thinking hire from within on offense, bring somebody out from the outside on
That's
defense.
exactly what I thought. Yep.
That being said, it's tough to really judge it because we're not in on those meetings. We're not in on those conversations. We don't know what the pecking order was with those assistant coaches. So it does feel like all along, maybe Benjamin was next in line. I was happy to see the reactions from some of the players and former players. Like they seem like he deserved it. They're pumped for him. But yeah, it was a surprise to me. And when I say like the pecking order amongst the assistants, like the defensive line coach took the job with the Patriots. Like I don't even think he was in consideration for our DC. And it's like
No.
you had to know. Hindsight, they probably knew Shepard was like next in line. Now that being said, on the offense, I assumed that Engstrom was next in line.
Right.
Yeah.
But apparently that wasn't in what they were thinking. Because
I didn't even know who this fucking guy was.
Yeah.
I got a text and I thought Johnny
Yeah, I
Morton,
think
the
we all did.
receiver.
Yep.
And I'm like, where was he coaching in college? Like, where the
Yeah.
fuck did this guy come from? And I was like, oh, maybe he was like a receiver coach somewhere, and
I thought
and I didn't know.
former player, it fits what we've
Right.
been hiring.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's kind of odd. Not heard that name. And then I search it. I'm like, who the fuck's this white guy?
That's not Johnny Morton.
Johnny Morton.
In the same mindset as the D line coach going, Randall L took the OC job
Yep.
with
Another-
the Bears.
Yep.
So it's like he knew he wasn't next in line with the Lions, and I
was
think
deep.
he assumed he was underneath, either Fraley, Brunel, or Engstrand.
Or all of them.
Yeah, and it's like, damn. But at the same time, I mean, you always hear about the Belichick coaching tree, the Parcells coaching tree. And like, you don't get a coaching tree without guys branching out.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, Randall kind of hurt. I think he did good things for that receiving core.
Yeah.
I also think that St. Brown,
Yeah.
Khalif, like there's veterans in there.
JMO, yeah. They love
that,
him.
Right. But I think that the veterans in there, I think
They already know.
Antoine Randall helped JMO.
Yeah.
JMO's fucked up.
Well,
we all know
Yeah,
that.
you saw the St. Brown podcast, right?
Right.
Where
Yeah.
Amon Ra was like, "We have Dan. I don't care if as long as he's here, we're good."
Yeah, and at the end of the day, my answer, no matter what, to this question is, I trust Dan and Brad Holmes. Do you trust them with draft picks? Do you trust them with? I trust them more than I've ever trusted a coach and a GM before. So
Speaking of them, pull out your phone. Speaking of Dan Campbell,
I'm scared.
Yeah.
you guys haven't seen this photo of Dan
Jesus.
Campbell. That is a Marlboro Light in his mouth and a Marlboro Light box in his waistband.
Yeah, and if you didn't know, there is a female in that picture as well.
Yeah,
'cause I
if you
know-
guys didn't know, that's his wife. But I know I was with Josh. I didn't realize there was a female in that picture. Just did something. Gosh, Dan.
I did think that once we hired the D-line coach from the Bucks, I can't think of his name right now,
I love him. Yeah, I can't think of his name either. But if you,
Casey Rogers.
you dig into his track record, it's impressive.
You look at it all, he's been a D-line coach everywhere he's went. He's been phenomenal. And the people that he's coached, really good players. I thought once we got him that we were going to get Foot.
I thought I was pumped about Larry Foote, and not just Michigan. Like, I've dug into Larry Foote over the last few years because
Well, he also played here in the twilight of his career.
he's from Detroit.
Yeah.
He played for Michigan, played for the Lions,
Yep.
but he's got a really impressive track record coaching because over the last few years of Michigan defensive coordinators and Michigan linebacker, like, he's been brought up in possibly coming to Michigan, and it was always under the understanding that it would almost be a step down for him because he's on a trajectory in the NFL to be a D coordinator.
Yeah.
This is for a few years now, and the Bucks have had impressive defenses. So
and their linebacker play has been top tier.
Yeah,
Right? He's
so-
coached some really good players.
yeah,
So I really thought that was going to happen.
former player from Detroit.
And
yeah.
then, it was actually, got announced on Saturday that Shep was going to be it, and I was like, okay, can we bring Larry to be our linebacker
And that's
coach?
where it's like, you'll see sometimes, like, example, when Michigan promoted Kirk Campbell from quarterback coach to OC, they didn't hire another quarterback coach because deep down he's still going to coach the quarterbacks. Right. So it's like, as a linebacker coach, if you promote or hire a linebacker coach, you almost have two guys that's what they are. They're linebacker coaches. So it's almost like you're choosing one or the other at the end of the day. And apparently they wanted to keep that Shepherd in house, and there's something to be said about trying to keep what you already have going, and so
Well, that was the other big one for me, was seeing that Fraley is staying.
Yep.
That is humongous for our offensive line.
Yep.
That Hank Fraley is staying.
I really thought, was it
I think
the Bears where he was linked to that
Yes.
going to be the OC? He was the only coach that made it through the Patricia regime, right?
Yes.
The only
Yep.
one that stayed. So, I mean, he's been great. And honestly, why would you want to leave this whole line?
Yeah.
Like,
And I think that he may eventually be a coordinator, because I think,
I do too.
or a run game coordinator, which he is the run game coordinator right now.
that's what we promoted
Yeah,
him to.
he got promoted to run game. Or
But
was he
he's-
last year too?
I think we just promoted him
We
to
just
it.
promoted
Okay,
him
to
to
keep
it. I
him.
saw that, but he is. What he does with this offensive line and how he can piece in places, like, we didn't notice Christian Mahogany even being,
Yeah. And
he wasn't a deficiency going in the game. It's on a player, but it's also coaching. Like, to be coached up and to know the playbook inside and out, that's huge. And to have an offensive line coach that played in the league, and that's really good at fucking.
I mean,
I forgot if it was Decker or Ragnow too, but one of them came out and just was glowing about how much they loved him and how much they wanted him to stay.
well, I mean, playing O-line, it's tough because it's, 5 guys trying to play as one, right? So you have to have that cohesiveness, and you have to be able to have your fill-ins have that same terminology and everything, and, they've done a great job. Sean Hamilton is going to be the linebacker coach. He was the assistant linebacker coach, just got promoted up. So,
And that's kind of what you'd expect if the linebacker, again, if you're promoting your position coach, like, just to keep it the way it's been.
Sean Hamilton was a He's 29. He was a Crimson Tide football player as well. I don't remember. Sean.
Let's
Well, he played some good football in his life then.
talk about the D-line coach, too, though, back to the Buccaneers thing. I think he's been there, like, the running game defensive coordinator there,
Yeah.
and then the D-line coach. And over the last 5 years, like, they've had 5 straight years where they're top 5 in rushing defense.
rush
And
defense.
So,
Yeah, I took a picture. I went on his Wikipedia and took a picture of everywhere he's coached. Dude didn't get drafted in '92, I believe it was. He also has a son that played in the league.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
Oh, good.
From Tennessee, Martin, Northeast Louisiana, all assistant head coach, D-line. Arkansas, Cowboys, Dolphins, Jets, Bucks, Lions, all defensive coordinator or game coordinator. And, yeah, he's just going to fill in and just...
yeah, he sounds like a great hire.
Matt, that's a great job to get, man. You got McNeil and Hutch coming back.
Yep.
Like, that D-line should be top tier, right?
Yeah,
Should. You got
Pending injuries
You got
and-
Reeder, McNeil, Hutch, and
Potentially Pascal, Zadarius Smith.
Pascal. Zadarius is back.
Yeah.
You got some pieces. So
Yeah, my text message group didn't know that Zadarius was coming back another year.
So,
Like, we got him next year, too. I'm like, yeah.
so he's signed for another year, but I guess there's
He had an option, right?
there's a roster bonus that is a decent little chunk here that's going to hit, and I think the general consensus is that it's 50-50 as to whether he's worth that, but I've also heard that maybe we can get that reduced or even, like, bring him back on a different terms. But
he liked being
he
here.
wants to be here.
Or
We
could just
want him here.
structure a new deal.
That's what I'm hoping.
You're on the back end of your career,
Yeah.
right? We'll get you a couple more years. And
Yeah, he posted something like a week ago with a Lions ring that he had and said, this is the ring before the ring. So, and this is after we lost. So it wasn't like a
he's-
Commanders thing. This was a next year, future thing. So we'll see.
So, got anything more on Lions coaches?
No.
So let's we briefly talked about it. We'll hit on coaches around the league. So the coaching carousel. We're not going to go into the coordinators and stuff. Even though, did you see Eberflus signed with
Cowboys.
the Cowboys as well?
Random Lions thing. If you've seen the Ben Johnson speeches and then the Aaron Glenn speeches, I think it's what we were saying. Aaron Glenn looks like he's supposed to be a head coach and
Yeah.
he's going to succeed. We'll still
Again,
see with Ben Johnson, but as
he-
far as like the speaking, I'm like
He ran. It was Campbell and him.
Yeah.
Like, he ran the defense.
Yeah.
I don't even think Campbell's like, yeah, I got you. Do you?
100%.
And it was him and Ben. You know what I mean?
That's why I said if you got an offensive or defensive minded head coach, it's similar with Michigan.
Yep.
I always put more emphasis on the D coordinator because Harbaugh's an offensive guy.
Yep.
Sharon Moore's an offensive guy. So
The D needs to run the D.
yeah.
And that's if you listen to anybody in the Chiefs organization, like if you listen to the Kelsey Brothers podcast, he always talks about how Spags does this with the defense, and talks about Andy Reid dialing this up
Because that's how it was.
because that's
Yeah.
how it works, right? That's
Right.
when you're offensive minded, and
Yeah.
well,
It's like even sports talk radio throughout the year when the offense sucks, are we talking it's Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson. When the defense sucks, it isn't Dan Campbell, it's Aaron
Aaron
Glenn.
Glenn.
Period. Like, so that's people know. If you got a defensive minded head coach, you better get a freaking good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and I think that's the NFL now.
Yeah.
You need an offense. I mean, who's one that's a defensive minded coach?
Belichick.
Vrabel's a defensive guy. He just.
But I'm saying
he-
I'm saying the Super Bowl though.
Oh, yeah, I'm-
Belichick. I mean,
Belichick's it.
right.
But
Yeah.
again, it was Belichick, and then Josh McDaniels offense
That's what I'm saying. And what did Vrabel do first thing? Josh McDaniels is back.
Yeah, we need him back.
So yeah,
for the
I mean,
fourth time.
Bowles. Yeah.
Hey, some people, and honestly, like, that's kind of how I feel about Ben Johnson. Do whatever, buddy, but like, I think he's going to be an OC. Like, that's your thing.
Yeah.
And
I
maybe
will
he
say-
knew that. That's why he didn't leave last year. But getting 13 mil,
You turning down 13 mil?
no.
I'm not turning down 13 mil to
Like,
go anywhere.
you could say he went to the Bears or whatever, but like,
Well, you might be seeing the opposite with Saleh too. I mean, he was a D coordinator. He flopped with the Jets. Their offense is terrible. They didn't have good offense. Now he's back with the 49ers defensive coordinator.
but also you had that Aaron Rodgers, and
that was a terrible
he
situation.
didn't
for him.
get to do anything.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad for Glenn because if Rodgers wants to come back, you got a first year coach. Like,
Yeah.
Salah's a hard guy. I think Aaron Glenn's the same way, and he didn't get a say. He
Yeah.
didn't have a say in what to do. It was Aaron Rodgers ran everything.
Well, he had some time before that though.
And I got to imagine that
Touche.
Glenn probably had that conversation before he
Zach
took
Wilson.
the job. I gotta imagine he had a conversation before taking that job. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I want to come here. I want to be the head coach, but I'm not gonna be here with my hands tied.
Right. But
That was the take I got from both our coordinators was, and the people that were knocking them on taking interviews. I was like, I think a lot of these positions were interviewing. They weren't interviewing them. Our guys were interviewing
them.
like they were deciding whether or not that's a good fit for them. They didn't have to take that job. They didn't. It was going to be the right situation. Which Glenn played 7-8 years for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the organization, so it isn't like, I can't believe he's going to New York. He knows what he's getting into.
Well, the wild thing is that, I mean, going back to Salah getting fired, that defense was legit.
Oh yeah, they always were.
And we're talking about a defensive, like, you got in trouble because of the offense. That'd
Yeah.
be like Campbell getting fired over the defense, right? Or
So
you got to have the right person in place on the offensive side. Who was their offensive coordinator?
I can't tell you.
Didn't they
wasn't
bring
good,
in the guy from Green Bay or whoever was buddy with Rodgers? It was Rodgers. Rodgers ran that side of the ball.
Yeah, I know that they switched this
Brought
year.
in their quarterback coach.
Right.
It was Rogers' quarterback coach from Green Bay.
From
so
Green
they
Bay,
brought him.
right. So, whatever. I mean, so Ben Johnson, going over the carousel here, Ben Johnson's in Chicago. Gross videos. Just didn't seem right. Didn't look right. But he wasn't even the most awkward one.
Oh God, dude.
Fucking
Yeah,
Liam
no.
Cohen.
Well, that whole situation too.
I mean, it's literally like Caleb when he did the Bears and he said it all.
Well, he's like,
The city of Jacksonville and the surrounding areas, and how about Duval?
Yeah, it was. It's just
bro,
awkward.
what do you
Yeah.
do?
even
Stop talking.
Yeah.
the lead up to it too, the couple days before you even took the job. How did you even make that worse? Because the Jaguars.
He talked.
So the Jaguars brought him in. He was their top candidate, but they still had their GM. But a week prior to that, their owner did the press conference and said, "Yeah, this is still our GM unless someone gives me a reason to fire him." Like, okay, like we already know that that's not a good situation. And then Liam Cohen comes in, and then he pulls his name from the running. They fire the GM the next day, and then magically he goes back. It's like,
Well, it's like, why wouldn't you say that when Ben Johnson was there?
yeah, like they could have had Ben
Like,
Johnson.
right,
think
100%.
I think
Well,
that was a better
Ben
situation.
picked where he wanted to go. Is what happened.
I think he would have went there. He would have had to pick. He'd have been able to pick his GM. He would have had way more say in everything, and you'd have been in a division with the fucking Colts, the Titans. Like,
And no one would have been mad at you.
yeah,
You
yeah.
go to Jacksonville, do your thing.
Yeah.
You're out in the AFC. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Oh, and you're living in Florida.
You're right. Nope, you chose Chicago and getting dicked by Campbell 2 times a year.
Bitch.
But yeah, so that hire was weird. He's from the Bucks, correct?
yeah. He was
And a lot of people talked good shit about him. Like,
well,
like
he's the Mayfield whisperer. They say
Yeah.
he's the reason that Baker's been so good the last couple of years.
Oh, Baker to Jacksonville. Here we go.
yeah, it's coming.
Staying in Florida.
Yeah, see you later, sunshine. You're out of there. The first pick or first coaching change everyone saw once they hired Mayo was Vrabel to New England, which I know we've already kind of talked about that.
I mean, that was a shoe in already.
yeah, McDaniel's going there.
You
as
feel
the
terrible
OC.
feel terrible for Gerard Mayo.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
Dude didn't get a chance.
you get 1 year.
yeah.
By the way, you get a rookie quarterback.
right, and he replaced Vrabel as a linebacker when Vrabel retired.
That's one of those rare ones too, where I'm like, Mayo got screwed for sure, but I also get it. Like, but in that being said, they could have hired Vrabel last year. Why don't you just do it then?
Correct.
Because they had in writing that Mayo was the, whatever. It's stupid. My thing though is like, are they going to try to reincarnate what Belichick did? Like
Fuck
that?
yeah.
Like, I mean, I understand, but you're missing a big fucking piece of that.
They got a good rookie quarterback.
And
They do have a good rookie quarterback.
No, but
Okay.
they're gonna try to do it as close as they can. That's for sure.
100%. I think Drake May is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
In coming.
I
in the coming
don't
years.
I don't want Vrabel to be Belichick. I want him to be Vrabel.
Well, he's going to be Vrabel,
You
but
know.
he's obviously going to take the things. And you have a great offensive
Yeah.
mind in Josh McDaniels. That was shown for many years.
So another bad hire in my opinion. Did you guys think the Cowboys' offense was good this year? They just promoted their OC to head coach.
that was probably the worst.
Like, what
Hire.
the
It's
fuck,
insane.
dude?
And then did you see the interview with him talking about or with Jerry talking about glory holes?
Yeah.
Did you hear that or no?
It did.
He's
Reminds
if
me-
not, look it up. But
it's if you
Jerry-
guys haven't seen it, go.
Jerry's delusional. Yeah, so you got Schottenheimer and I was going to say Nagy. Who Eberflus?
Yeah, I don't think
That sounds great.
I don't think Dion would have been
How
a
do
good
you-
hire, but I would have did it over Schottenheimer.
1000%.
Yeah, I don't think Dion wanted that.
So they said that they formally interviewed like 3 different people, and they had a conversation with Dion. They didn't even say formal interview. So
I know Dion and Witten were like the sexy names going there coming back, but also who was the guy that got not Peanut, who
I think they.
the return guy for Cincy, Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Pac-Man's really close with him, and he got interviewed on ESPN, and he's like, Dion's not going there. He's staying in Colorado. He's doing his thing, and he's not leaving.
How much money is he making at Colorado? He ain't fucking leaving.
Right. And
He can do what he
all
wants.
he's going to do is hey,
And
I
nobody
need
wants
more
to go
money.
to the Cowboys until Jerry's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry has to be bigger than who that coach is.
Yes.
He needs a puppet, and that's what
I've always kind of thought
Brian Schottenheimer.
I've always thought Dion's
Not
next
Marty.
step,
Right.
like in general, if he does well with Colorado, which so far he has, we're going to see what he does without
You
his
gotta
kid and Travis Hunter. But I always thought his next step before potentially the NFL was back at Florida State.
I thought
and
so, too.
after how bad Florida State just did this year, I can't believe Norvell is still their coach. They went like 2-10, which is unreal. Like you should,
After being preseason ranked in the top
bro,
10.
you should accidentally win 4 or 5 games with that schedule in the ACC. But yeah, so we'll see how he does this year. But another 500-ish year, I think that's a potential that you could see Dion take. But
I could see it.
back to his college, back to where he spent most of his time. I mean,
I just think even if it's not Florida State, just a
bigger college.
bigger college in Colorado, and maybe he's just like, hey, I'm gonna make Colorado fucking big.
I think that's what he's trying to do.
Which he's trying to do it, yeah, you know. But
I mean, for Colorado to go, what were they, 9-3? I think was their final record.
Yeah.
makes sense.
When's the last time you saw Colorado?
No,
team
man,
ever
they
go
won.
9-3?
Yeah, that's like a 3-win program.
Yeah.
Every year.
I mean, it's like him going to Purdue.
He
and,
has already
you know,
changed the culture there, and it will be challenging for him. However, doesn't he get like a top 5 quarterback recruit?
He did.
Well, I mean, that's what he does. He's great.
Julian Wilson, I think.
Yeah.
Because as a young kid, like he's
Well, if-
doing all the things that you want your program
Let's
to do.
face it. If your ultimate goal is the NFL, which that's why he got Travis Hunter to go to Jackson State. If that's your ultimate goal, and you're like, hey, you know, who cares what the next 3 years? What am I going to take away? I'm going to learn about the league. He's going to run his team like a pro system. I get it.
But also, I think he works really well in college because the things how he treats his players are like their kids, and he's teaching them.
Yeah.
In the pros, those are grown men. Like it's a different
Yeah.
It's a
culture,
completely different area.
and the recruiting, which I don't know if he's going to people's houses and doing all that, but
He's not.
he hits the portal and he talks to those people.
Yeah.
You know,
The weird thing with him too, like what put a real bad taste in my mouth early on with him was how he handled the Colorado players that he cut and shit, and all the roster overturned. But now that he's there and he's established, it is what it is.
but also
people
it's-
know what they're signing up for.
it's like going into in retail. Like you go into a spot and you got shit, you got to get rid of it.
yeah.
Like he
like
cleared
going
he
into
cle-
anything.
He cleared house.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they brought him there for.
But that's why, I agree with you. It's just shitty the way he did it.
100%.
I think it's just the way you handle
100%.
At the same time, like I just said, like their average record is maybe 4 wins a year.
Yeah.
So like he knew that going in. Like, hey, y'all aren't good enough to
Yeah.
play here right now. You can try.
There's a spot for you, but
You gotta earn it.
What do you say? I'm bringing the Louis.
Yeah.
Like my guys are coming,
yeah.
and hey, they went. That's the whole portal now. That's what you do. I think one of the biggest surprises of hiring was hiring 73-year-old Pete Carroll
Oh, jeez, I forgot
to
about
the
that one.
Raiders. I didn't see him coming back into the coaching world again.
Yeah.
And
He doesn't look 73.
How old is Trump?
I don't know, 70
About 3
Dish.
So,
He's in his 70s.
bro, too old to run the country, too old to run a football team. But you're right. Pete Carroll does not give me those vibes at all. He still seems real energetic.
Well, him and Belichick are close. Is Belichick in the 70s too?
Belichick's a few years younger,
Yeah,
but
but he's hit the
He's
fountain
right.
of
He's
youth.
close.
In the
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tapping the fountain. of youth.
That's right. Yeah, he is.
It's
Bing
just, I don't know, man. The Raiders too. Like,
Did you see Marshawn come into his press conference?
Yes.
Fucking love it.
So I was watching a Crosby interview, and he's like, I was getting treatment after the press conference, and Marshawn came in, just bullshitting, and he's like, he literally got me excited to play football for Pete Carroll. He's
Yeah.
like, he's a culture changer.
we've seen it.
Yeah, and I mean he did it in Seattle for so long.
Do they have enough gum in Vegas is the question.
I mean they got draft capital, they got money to spend.
I think part of
He's a smart guy.
Carroll was awesome at USC. He was awesome for Seattle. Part of his downfall was Russell Wilson starting to fall off and just kind of outwearing his welcome there. But yeah, is he gonna set a good culture? Is he gonna? Are the Raiders immediately a better team with him? I think so.
Well, that's the other thing. Is talking about offensive. What is Carroll?
Offense.
Offense. Yeah.
He's a yeah.
He's just that's USC.
Right. I was thinking
quarterback.
USC, but they've also all those teams had great defenses as well.
Yeah, I just think him as like a quarterback whisperer type liner and all those dudes. Sanchez, like he was always great with that. But yeah, I think the best coaching decision he ever made was when they.
Was Sanchez a Carroll guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't already in the league.
I think he caught him at the start, and then you also got Barkley, you got Clausen. Like
Yeah,
they always had good quarterbacks.
You had the Heisman,
Yeah.
the run of all them.
The biggest decision he ever made was fucking playing Russell Wilson over Matt Flynn.
Yeah.
They committed all that money to Matt Flynn.
Well, Detroit.
Matt Flynn can thank Detroit for that.
Yeah, and
Right.
he said
Matt Flynn, you owe Detroit a large
dude didn't even start the
amount of
season.
money.
He said, "Nah, this guy's
No, we're
better."
gonna put this guy in from fucking Wisconsin,
Yeah, so
and I mean,
Worked out, obviously.
it did. But great defense. You know,
Yeah,
that was a Russell
I
Wilson.
mean, that's really
led-
when he
Legion of
kind of.
Boom.
I mean, he kind of created the 12th man, right? Like that wasn't.
that was all. Yeah,
That was him. Like
So, talking about a fan base that could do that, Raider fans are fucking crazy. So, he's going to try to bring it there. I mean, you see him in practice. He's throwing the fucking football like,
still running around.
yeah, running, doing all that.
Yeah.
So wild to
So,
me.
that's why, as much as the age thing, it's tough with him because he doesn't seem that age at all. You guys are right.
but who's the Raiders quarterback, right? I don't know where they're at in the draft. They're top something.
They
Top
gotta
5,
be.
I think.
I mean, Crosby was on ESPN.
He said, I'm
all
not here
week.
for a rebuild. I want to win.
Right.
And I don't even want to, unless you get Cam Ward. I don't like any of these quarterbacks. My next best quarterback in the draft is probably Jackson Dart. Like I don't go Shador at the top there. So
I think Shador will be the 1-1 though.
I think Cam Ward will be.
Do you?
Yeah. If I'm running a team though, and hopefully I got a quarterback. I already told you I'm taking Mason Graham, but I think Cam Ward is the number one
Imagine
quarterback off
Mason
the board.
Graham next to
Crosby.
Crosby.
I wish somehow, some way you could end up in Detroit. I know it's not happening, but
We'd have to give up so much to go.
I'm gonna miss watching him play football.
Yeah. I mean, you still can see it,
Yeah.
just not
Yeah.
weekly. What do you know? What pick they have?
I don't know.
Draft. Let's see if I can find it real quick without wasting too much time.
Probably like you got to be 4, 5, 6.
Tennessee's 1. I remember that. Tennessee, Browns, New York,
Patriots.
Patriots, Jags. They are 6.
Okay.
I could see Shador going there.
I could see it.
Vegas.
It's the thing about quarterbacks, and we all know it's tough to say until the combine comes. But yeah,
Well, does Tennessee? Are they getting a quarterback?
they need one. Nah,
They don't want
Are
to
they-
still
continue
need
with Thor's hammer.
they got. Oh fuck, they let Malik Willis go, so they got Levis and didn't they have another one too? They got Rudolph, Mason Rudolph. So yeah, they need a quarterback.
Levis, the pipe driller.
So is that? Do they trade back, or then you got Cleveland, which that situation's fucked. They're just trying to get out of the contract with.
There's got to be a way out. He tore his fucking Achilles again. Like I'm
I
not
mean,
paying you. You can't
Everyone needs
play.
it. New York, they need a quarterback. The only one that doesn't need it is the
Or
Patriots.
if I'm Cleveland, by the way, I'm just rolling with Jameis, and I'm getting my TV ratings, and I'm gonna embrace him.
Selling jerseys.
Did you
eating
see him
dubs.
on?
You're gonna go at least 500. You're
Did
gonna
you
have
see him on
highlights.
I don't know what show.
A lot of touchdowns, a lot of picks.
Both teams are gonna have a lot of highlights.
He was doing an interview with Fox. They were like, I heard people make fun of you when you call the play in the huddle, and he's like, Kelsey's like, all right, I want you to call play in the huddle. His eyes got like this big, and he's like, split right Z open, looked at Kelsey, goes, why dig? And
This
he
is
started
this is on
dying.
New Heights?
Yeah, no, this was on I think it was on a Fox, one of the Fox
Oh, okay.
shows.
And Jason
yes.
Kelsey, gotcha.
And he said he said Laramie Tunsil was the worst player to call a play with because he laughed at him every time he called a play in the huddle. Could you imagine calling a play in the huddle? You're getting laughed at
No,
just
No.
because he's so excited to call the play.
He's-
I was listening to something with Gronkowski, and he said he's only caught balls for like 3 quarterbacks in the offseason in his life. Tom Brady, Brian Hoyer, and somebody said they threw in another name, or they said Jimmy Garoppolo, and the guy goes, no, Jameis Winston. He goes, when I went to Tampa, I ran into him at like a Topgolf, and Jameis said, started talking to him, and he goes, tomorrow we're throwing, would you mind? He goes, yeah, for sure, I'll come. And he goes, I showed up, and the entire session, all he asked me, and he goes, props to him, because this is what you should do. He goes, for an hour, all he asked me was, how does Tom do this? How does Tom do this? Does Tom call it like this? Does he throw it like this? And he goes, he threw an awesome ball, and it was a great session, but he's like, all he did was pick my brain about Tom Brady. It was on Edelman's podcast. And Edelman goes, so you told him? He goes, yeah, I told him. He goes, whenever anybody used to ask me how Tom did shit, I'd say, fuck you, I'm not telling you anything. It's like, it's
That's
a
what
secret. Yeah, so
He's one of the funniest guys.
he's like, you're giving away Brady's secrets, but yeah.
Those two together are fucking
They're
hilarious.
great. They're great. That is a fun podcast to watch. It's fucking funny. And honestly, talking about Brady, I think he's really gotten better as a broadcaster. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say that he's.
Definitely
He
improved
started the
throughout
year very rough,
Yeah.
but like anything, when you're the GOAT, you get better at shit.
Yeah.
He's adding insight where it makes sense now.
Yeah, I think he took
And-
the feedback and he's improving. And anybody
stopped.
that's surprised by that, like, bro, do you know who this guy is? Like, are you surprised? Like, you can't be surprised. So, it's just anybody, dude. You're just gonna immediately jump in a booth, something you've never done in your life, and be great at it. So
No.
props
But
to him.
Props to him. And yeah, we'll talk more on the Super Bowl next week, obviously.
Yeah, the only other hire that, we briefly talked about, Aaron Glenn. Obviously, we talked about that already, and Brian Schottenheimer. So, yeah. Is there anything else open? Everything closed now?
All the coaching positions are.
Oh, there's one. I just heard that they're interviewing somebody, and I was Saints.
Oh, yeah.
I was laughing. I was like, they don't hire. So what I'm thinking there is that they're
They're
planning,
gonna get one
They're
of
planning
the-
on hiring one of these coordinators from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right. Well, other than football,
Who's the notable coordinator other than Steve Spagnuolo?
which you think Spags is going anywhere?
it wasn't him either. They were
Kellen Moore?
Kellen Moore was going to
Yeah.
interview for the head coaching job for the Saints.
I mean,
saw
it makes
his
sense.
first
He's offensive minded, and the Saints, they still always have a good defense.
week. Yeah.
So
I still think that we should have hired Allen as the head coach from the Saints.
Yeah.
Would have been a good fill-in. So I'm pulling it up right now because I don't even know. There's some other sports happening in Detroit. We got a 500 basketball team.
Cade.
The Detroit Pistons, after losing Ivy, they're 23-23,
they've
500.
5x their wins already from last year.
The talk of the Pistons right now is trade deadline coming up.
Yeah,
We've been sellers for fucking 10
Ever.
years. So now we're right on that fringe. And the hot names you see going around are two guys that I love and two guys I'd like to see us keep. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley.
Yep.
And it's tough because it's like I saw something with Malik. He said he's even talked with Trajan Langdon and about wanting to stay. And he also understands it's a business. If some championship competing team right now comes along and offers a deal we can't refuse, he might be gone, but he hopes he isn't. So we'll see.
I mean, both of those people that they brought in, I love. It's the Tobias one that I don't understand. He's just not playing great.
Not to like question your opinion on either, because I know you haven't watched all the games.
Right.
I really think if you're looking at box scores, 1,000% yes. But I've talked about it a little bit in the past. I think Tobias. So little known thing since the Ivy injury, Tobias leads the entire NBA in plus minus. Like,
Does he really?
I really think he's in a position where he's made his money. He's got his two big contracts with the Sixers. He is playing team basketball. When you need him to score more, he's going to score more. When you need him to just space the floor, when you need him to play defense, when you need him to pass, he knows his role and he's accepted it. And that's not common in the NBA. Like, all you hear about is, it's usually a more selfish league, and there's only one ball to go around. So if you got Beasley and Hardaway chucking shots, Ivy was for a while, Cade, there's something to be said about playing your role. And I think he's embraced it. I think he's been well at it. But yeah, if you're looking at the shooting stats and scoring, it's like,
From them, yeah, right. I mean, you see like a 6 up there, and you're like, "Come on, man, you're not fucking Ben Wallace. What are we doing here?" because he is an offensive guy.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'd still like to see him between 10 and 15 every night.
And it's great to have veteran leadership, but or the locker room guy, but that only goes so far. You got to do it on the court too. You know what I mean? Asher Thompson starting to play, right? I mean, again, I've only watched highlights. I haven't really dug into a whole game and got into it, which you have. But, I mean, from what it's looking like, I get alerts on Bleacher Report of Cade dunks, Cade this, Cade that. Like
Cade was damn close to being a starter in the All-Star game. Like, a lot of people might say he got snubbed. He's been unreal.
Yes.
And then you said Ozar Thompson and Ron Holland, both the young guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're both very similar in that they're great defenders, uber athletic, high energy, and they're both like, especially Holland. He's kind of like Isaiah Stewart, and they embrace that whole bad boy Detroit, ready to fight at any time. Like they're fun to watch. So it's been exciting and it's been fun to watch them grow and just to see them continue to play better basketball.
Competing.
Yeah.
It's not like
What a world of a difference JB Bickerstaff has been.
yeah. Like last year you turn a game on and you're like, well, I guess I'm going to watch something else.
Yeah, and you hear the post game and Monty Williams is like dissing players and it's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? Like he took Ivy out of the rotation completely. He's like second year top 5 pick.
He
Like, bro,
couldn't figure out how to put them together. It's like, just make it work, man.
like we can lose with anybody. We're fucking losing every game. Get these guys reps. Get these guys. So it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, they were talking yesterday on the ticket about some names of potential people. I know Kobe White for the Bulls was brought up. Who's it? Bobby Portis, which
The one I've heard, I like to CJ McCollum.
that would be awesome as well.
Just because Ivy took a lot of the pressure off Cade on ball handling, and that'd be another guy that can also bring the ball up the floor, similar that we did with Lillard when they played together, and he also can score.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something we need. The shitty part of it is every single mock trade I've seen includes either Beasley or Hardaway, a draft pick, and then like Fontecchio or something. So
Which even when we got them, we're like,
yeah, that's what sucks.
Probably going to lose them at the deadline.
Yeah, I should have known better than to get too attached to either because that's basically what they were. But too late. I like them.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be great if they make the playoffs. They're currently sitting in
We're in the play-in.
where that. Yeah,
We're in
we're in
game
the
right now.
8, right? I believe is where we're at.
Yep.
I went away from it. Which would be exciting. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like we haven't had playoffs since the Ginger,
Yeah.
and that was
1 year.
1 year, and we got
4 games.
swept by the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
They were close games, but
It
yeah.
was bad.
Yeah,
I mean, and then talking about postseason, Wings haven't had any either. So that building has.
I've been saying it for a while, ever since LCA was built. It'd be cool to see, because I've been to some concerts there that are packed. It'd be cool to see that
place
that
banging.
place packed, yeah. I'd love to see that courtyard outside packed with an outdoor, screening and everything. It'd be cool to see.
It's made to be like that.
We're so damn close.
We just need the skill, and then Red Wings firing their coach. Where are they currently at? Let me see if I can pull them up real quick.
We're on the same boat, I think.
They are 24-21.
Shit.
Over 500.
Over
Another-
500, but the thing with them is they've been on. I think they got 12 points in however long, and everyone in that same boat or who's with them have also had the same fucking run.
Yeah.
So that blows. They are currently conference 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They are 10th in the conference.
Yeah. I think wildcard, they're a couple points out, but I think the last I looked, they had a couple games in hand still. So that's a big deal with hockey. But yeah, they're right there on that fringe.
Yeah, we're 4 back.
Okay.
Bruins are the 1, Tampa 2, Columbus, and then us.
How many points?
1 game.
So that's, we're right there, man. We're right at the fringe.
Yeah, but Boston, Tampa, Columbus,
Yeah, that's tough.
they've all been playing very well as well.
But yeah, it's exciting times, like we said, over the last 6, 7, 8 years of Detroit sports across the board and all the losses we took. It's nice to see it all turning around.
I agree. I'd love to. After last year, you'd think to see the Wings take a step back. You're like, fuck, man, like we were right there, we had it, and we gave it away.
Yep.
I think the the biggest sparks are, Lucas Raymond is having a solid year. He's playing incredible. And I think they're finding a goalie. I don't know. I like I said, I really haven't watched the game.
I haven't watched a whole lot either.
Yeah, so I just know that Lucas Raymond, I'm seeing a bunch of shit for him. Patrick Kane mixed some games, and he's been a hot spot. And they brought up
Casper.
Marco Casper, which everyone was like, we need to bring him up, and dude's succeeding up there.
I watched the game for a minute yesterday, and he had a sick goal. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, like they keep saying the future is this, and that's what they keep talking about. It's going to be coming, and I don't think they're going to rush and get rid of Steve because of who he is.
Yep.
But I also could see like them firing Yzerman, and then all of a sudden they take off because of everything that he's building.
Yeah.
And hey, that's the way that you have to build it. And I think the Lightning, it took them some time, but they also, they had some superstars.
Well, they were built for the long run too.
Right.
It wasn't just a one
And,
thing.
and he's gone, and they're still succeeding on what he's built.
And that's what happens when you build things the right way.
Yeah. So
Good things take time. Okay.
Yeah, I mean over 500.
Good things
Every
take
team
time.
is 500 or above.
better.
So that's exciting for Detroit, and that's it's how it was when we grew up. Like I'd love to see that happening.
Yeah.
Last little bit here I have is baseball. I've been waiting to hear Tigers sign Bregman, and they keep hearing that.
Crickets.
They keep hearing that they're in the race. I heard that Houston's now in the race too.
Yeah, Boston.
Boston was always the one that was in there, but it's like, can you just sign with us?
Go
man?
get the
Fucking
deal done.
A.
Go get the
Everyone's
deal
on a
done.
stalemate. Yeah.
And if it was up to Hinch, it would already be done.
Yes. And I think I still deep down feel like it's going to happen, but like the bigger story for me right now in baseball is the fucking Dodgers.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, did they just get everybody?
well, baseball's broken, man. Like they're gonna, and the thing is, they're gonna have another. I think they got like one more deal on this labor contract. They're gonna hold out again. Like, and this time it's gonna be the owners. Like, I don't know what the solution is, but you have to have some type of a cap. Like there has to be, and I know the players will never agree to it because why would you?
Right.
You're making so much money,
They did in the NHL.
but they have to, dude. Like they could still make that money. It just needs to be spread out more, and there also needs to be a minimum. Like there's in the leagues, like there's penalties for being over, there's penalties for being under. Like if you're an owner of a damn baseball team, you're gonna spend X amount of money, and that goes from, the Rays. All the low. We always hear about small market, big market. What the hell? Like you're a billionaire, man. Like the A's, what the A's have done the last couple of years, that shouldn't be allowed.
Well, they're also trying. They were trying to leave Oakland. And,
Yeah,
I somewhat get that. But when you have, this is just the 2024, and obviously the Dodgers have spent a lot more money. But total payroll, Mets 314 were the top this past year, and Oakland had 62.
The Tigers'
Like that's two players for the fucking
entire playoff roster was like 20 mil.
yeah.
Like entire playoff roster. We were sure we were 40, 50, 60, but most of that was Baez and Kenta Maeda, and like it's unreal.
It
Like,
is.
to look at it and to see the disparity, and just to know that hey, any big name free agent that hits the market is probably going to sign with the Dodgers or the Mets or the Yankees. Like it's messed up.
Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, top in payroll, right? Phillies.
Yep.
Who is your playoff teams?
That's it, man. Like, what do you expect?
You're gonna spend 300 mil.
Well, and it takes away from the sport too, because like I saw someone compare it the other day. Oh, you complain about baseball not having caps, but you enjoy that the Chiefs have made the Super Bowl X amount of times. Now, obviously, there's some people that don't enjoy that, but
I don't.
It's more impressive that the Chiefs did it because they're playing under the same rules as everyone else. They're playing under the same cap as everyone else. They lost Tyreek Hill, but like they keep doing it with the same level playing field as these other teams, refs aside, like with all the talk. But so how are we going to compare this to the Dodgers when they're paying 6-7 times what other teams?
Can't.
They can make it every year. Fuck them. Like I'm not. Even if some team happens to make a Cinderella run, like a Rays or Tigers,
Right.
it's not realistic to sustain it.
And I think I heard a lot of this going into it, but it's like just be middle of the pack, Detroit.
Yeah.
Don't be bottom tier. Just we're not saying that you need to spend $350 million, but
spend something.
can we spend like 120?
Yeah.
Fucking A,
spend
we're
something?
we're spending.
We could sign 2-3 stars and still be under.
Yeah, in 2023, their payroll was 119. That's still having Cabby's deal, which was 30 mil on that, right?
Yeah. And bias.
And bias 24. They're 26th, not even over 100K.
And we're not a small market.
We're below
team, guys.
Cincinnati, Washington, Cleveland, Baltimore, Milwaukee,
And we're not
Kansas
a small market.
City.
The goddamn ballpark packs out
Right.
if they're any good.
Chicago, Minnesota, and KC are 18, 19, and 20 at 132 to 122.
We were
That's
all
the
at
other
the
thing.
playoff game.
Let's just look how bad our division is. If we spend it all, we're gonna run that shit. Like
So 2011, were we? That's as far as this website goes back. Were we in the hunt at all? No, is that
we're close.
We were
12.
close.
that's after though, right?
No, it's right at the tail end.
Yeah, it was.
That one's low too, but everyone else wasn't spending. Yankees are spending 210. We were spending 111.
Yeah,
That's 100.
makes sense. That's about where we've
Right?
been forever.
But
half of the Yankees.
2012, we were the 5th, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's wild to me. Spend the fucking money, Illiges. You guys have it, and I feel like they're running both their organizations the same way.
Yeah.
They want short deals.
It's just frustrating.
It is.
Go spend money, please.
Well, spend money or sell the team. Like if this
Preferably
was
the latter, so
And-
somebody else will spend money.
And the writing was always on the wall from the day Mike Ilitch passed. They always said Mike was a Tigers fan. The rest of the family was Red Wings, and at least the Red Wings they're at the league average. Like they're not overspending, but they're at least respectable. Ever since Mike I passed, it's been nothing.
But
for the
like,
Tigers.
I'm just like,
No.
we know how they are when the Tigers, when any Detroit team is good, the buildings will pack.
Yep.
People will
Look at
come
it, yeah,
spend the
look
money. We were all at the playoff game. We had
it was awesome.
a beer together. Mm-hmm. That fucking place was packed. I haven't seen Comerica that since 2012.
Yep, it was awesome, and we want more of that. But
Just go.
if there was an off season to at least start after that playoff run, spend some money, man.
Pull that little fucking checkbook
again,
out and write.
It's
the
one
check.
player. Like, if you sign Bregman, all the talks, everybody's okay. Like, sure, you'd like to get another pitcher, but if you sign Bregman, everyone's okay. At least we got
a bat.
the name you wanted.
We got a name. We got a bat.
All right. Spend some.
Yep.
Just quit holding that checkbook so tight, man. It's awful.
Well, that's like they're on the border of letting the best pitcher in the generation walk away
Yep.
because they're not even close on a number.
Yep.
You hope that gets done this year.
It
right?
better fucking get done.
Boris is the agent.
I hate that guy.
He's a test the market and leverage it type. His clients very rarely re-sign before they get to free agency. So if it wasn't this offseason, which it wasn't, they already agreed to avoid arbitration. We're in trouble.
Yep. Well, because all those teams that we talked about, they'll pay them.
And that's the thing. Like
They don't fucking care. They want to win.
we're gonna have to match whatever the Mets, Dodgers, Yankees offer him, and that
That sucks.
it's gonna be. And it can be small numbers.
Nope. Should have got it done this offseason.
So
All right.
at least they're building all those suites though, and high dollar Tiger Club behind home plate.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sweet.
Real fucking sweet.
Glad we're doing that. Sign some fucking players.
Yeah, if you got anybody watching that is gonna have connections on those tickets,
We'll take them.
I'll still go. But
Yeah, we'll take
It'd
them.
be nice to watch Bregman in those.
yeah, I'm not paying full price.
I'm
In
not
those seats.
paying to go sit in those.
Yeah.
Yeah, put something on the field worth watching.
Yep.
All right, my last thing I got here. We are a 4-sport city. Not a lot of cities can say that.
Ooh,
Um,
forgot about this.
and I want to do a little Mount Rushmore. We were talking about it last week. Your Mount Rushmore of Detroit sports, just 4, and it's really hard when you have 4 sports because you want to represent one of each, but it's like, can you do that?
Yep.
So I think we just go down the list here from sport to sport. We'll do 4 for each. Okay. What is your Mount Rushmore for? We'll start with the Lions. They're the hot team right now. What's your Mount Rushmore for the Lions?
We all have two. that are going to be the same.
Barry and Calvin.
Barry and Calvin. Let's knock those two out.
I think, I think there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
When you talk about the sport, you look at, do you need a defensive player on there? Is Spielman the guy? I didn't really watch Spielman growing up. He was kind of like,
I didn't either.
Can you put Spielman in a suit on there?
Does it have to be a player?
For what he's done?
Does it have to be a player?
I would think so.
My mind stalls out at
we
these
put-
two right
Because
now.
then Brad Holmes goes up there for me right now.
Does he, or do you put Sheila up
Campbell?
there? Sheila's the one that brought them both in.
Well, Dan Campbell played for us and coached for us.
Right, and wanted to coach here.
I really think that no matter what my answer is, if we fast forward 3, 4, 5 years, like for me right now, it's obviously Barry and Calvin, and then my next two are either
Mine are from this regime, and
I'd
it is not a quarterback.
it's too early to do it, but it'd be Hutchinson, and then it would be either Gibbs, St. Brown, or Goff.
Yep.
Whoever
King Penne.
or Dan Campbell.
Give him
Penei
it.
Sewell.
Penei Sewell too, yeah. Like I mean,
Penei Sewell was the first pick that started this.
let's
right?
face it, in our history, who else you going to? You got Spielman, you got like Porsche, you got Herman Moore.
That's
like,
mine.
Saint
I got it.
there's some
Corey
big names.
Schlesinger's on mine.
Slush with
Yeah,
a
it's
broken
like-
fucking face mask.
Yeah.
It just it was you could go older. You could go your Dick LeBeau's, your
Yeah, we'd
Bobby
be-
Lane, but like is that yours?
Yeah, no.
You know, did you watch those people?
Yep.
I mean, Stafford's definitely not on mine.
He's not on mine.
But
That's they say like, oh, sometimes you don't realize when you're the era you're living in, and it's like, dude, give Gibbs, St. Brown, Goff, Hutch a few more years,
yeah, they'll be
and they're
okay.
all in there, man. Like they're
Yep.
right there. It's unreal.
So who's your 4? Had to do it now today. Your 4.
Calvin, Barry. But who was my Herman Moore?
Ooh, Hermie.
Just because I liked watching him as a kid.
Putting Branch on there.
And I will put
I'm
Dan Campbell.
Love it.
I was thinking
And
about
the
being.
89.
I'm very close. I think it's.
That photo.
I think it's.
The Marble Light picture got me today.
If you made me pick 4 right now, Barry, Calvin, I go Jason Hanson,
That's fair. No,
That's
good
a
pick.
fucking great pick.
He should be on there.
and
I mean, he was our leading scorer for his entire career.
it's gonna because I'm going longevity. It's really close to St. Brown for me, but I'm gonna go Dan Campbell.
We got
I'm doing Hutch and Panay.
Yeah, Hutch is gonna
on
be
there.
there for me.
Hutch
very
will be
soon.
They're
Yeah.
on there.
Hutch will be there.
Side note, I ordered a Panay Sewell jersey from that U jersey. I know I sent you guys that.
Yeah, nice.
Just I needed to see how the jerseys look.
Yeah.
It's a $35 jersey.
yeah.
I ordered it the bye week. It was supposed to be here this week.
Is that what you were arguing about Amazon with the other day?
It's coming from Japan.
No,
so you
I mean, that's fine.
I understand. It might take a little longer.
Yeah, which is fine. They're not, it's not like they're in the Super Bowl, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. It was supposed to be here this week or next week, so just waiting on it. But if it's
We'll hope it comes by next season.
if it's nice, that's cool. But I got a Panay jersey.
I love it.
Pretty excited about it.
I got a Hutch this year. That's all I
So
got.
that would be my 4. We will go into the. Let's go into the Wings. I feel like they've had nothing but elite
we all got
players.
We probably all have Iserman and Howe. You kind of have to.
I think how would be the one that like if you didn't watch them
Yeah.
you could. But his fucking nickname's Mr. Hockey.
Yeah,
Like,
I think he's penciled in no matter what.
I think Lindstrom's on there too. I think he for how many defense dude was just he might be the best player to come through Detroit.
So what we're deciding on is our 4th.
4th and
You know who I'm going with.
Who you doing?
The Dangler.
Daddy.
Daddy Dangler. Dave, I hope you're listening.
I was gonna
Because
go the same just to
Datsuk
piss
is the
Josh off.
fucking man.
I like Datsuk.
I know, but
You going Sergey?
No, I'm going with.
Datsuk's my.
You're
4.
right. You're right. I'm going with Datsuk as
Datsuk's
well.
my
I
4.
forgot Dave was the
100.
far-off
No,
guy.
he called him pedestrian.
Yeah, no.
He was a
It's a
pedestrian.
disrespectful.
All you got to do is watch.
Kelly,
him.
I thought you were going with Konstantinov. No,
No, not after
mean-
that golf outing. But one, you just YouTube Pavel Datsuk.
you'll
Float
watch
on that
for
wormhole for a
hours.
second, and
It's-
you'll see why he's number 4.
Yeah, I mean, he left a kind of bitter taste when he left. He went to Russia and he played there, and it kind of sucked him leaving the team. But like what he
At least he
did,
didn't go to the Capitals. Fucking Fedorov.
yeah, for
Sorry.
more money. He left to go play for his country, not for another
Correct.
team that's
Yeah, I'll
paying
take
more.
that all day over.
But do you put Zetterberg there instead of him?
No.
Zetterberg was right there. He was the captain. Dude had a lot of fucking points.
Look, the Wings is going to be different for everybody, but I'm telling you, Datsuk. And he's on your stop. Who are you?
yes,
Who are
no,
you?
yes.
Jeff?
I'm talking to the,
There was-
we have the same four.
There was this time I was downtown at the Deluxe Flux or whatever it is in Greektown, and this is 6-7 years, probably longer now. But I'm at the bar. People are elbow to elbow bumping each other, and I get hit pretty hard in like my shoulder, and I'm at that point where I'm like ready to just
Get me the fuck out of here.
I turn around and it's Zetterberg, full playoff beard. I was
Dude.
like, "Oh, sorry, sir," and he was super nice. Like
Fucking fierce beard.
somebody pushed him into me, so he wasn't even being like a dick, but I was
He'd
like,
be
"Oh, I'm sorry."
playing, and I'm like,
Excuse me.
how is that?
Excuse me, sir. Can I just
Can I
touch it?
touch it?
Yeah,
touch it.
Yeah. What is something in there?
Let me touch it.
Yeah.
Why does it look so nice?
And also, I'm 5'9", 185 at the time. We were eye to eye, dude. I know he's listed like 6 foot.
Well,
but
that's the thing
That's
too
on
with
skates.
They look bigger on
hockey
skates, yeah.
with hockey players. They're a normal person. Like basketball, football, they stand out. You're like, holy shit, why is this guy huge?
Yeah.
Hockey's like, just just another dude.
missing a couple teeth. No
Yeah,
big deal.
right, exactly.
With a fantastic beard.
So I think that's who is that? Who
Yeah.
your fourth is
Oh,
Datsuk
yeah.
as well?
Absolutely.
So we all agree there.
Yeah.
How
And
about Tigers?
Tigers? There's so again, you got to go with people that you watch.
Cabrera, Verlander.
Cabrera and Verlander have to be on it.
I got my four pretty firmly.
Yeah.
Cabrera, K-Line, Cobb, Verlander.
I
thought about this
feel
one.
like K-Line and Cobb.
Cobb's the Gordie Howe.
right.
penciled in.
Right.
K-Line. My dad forever, K-Line was his
Yeah.
favorite baseball player, favorite Tiger, and eventually Cabrera actually took that from him, but still, that's who it is for me, Mr. Tiger.
Yeah, K-Line's on there for me as well. I don't know my
But-
fourth.
Bobby Higginson.
I go Verlander because I feel like you
I
have
loved him when I was a kid, dude. Bobby
I did
Higgins.
too.
Well, he was the only one you fucking
know,
watched.
you got to go pitcher, and who else is it? You could go. Who's the other?
Verlander.
I mean, you got Hank Greenberg, you got Lou Whitaker.
If you look
those are
through
other people that you know
Trammell,
names. Trammell.
If you look through Greenberg's actual stats, like again, it's before our time. I know Cobb and everybody is, but Greenberg was unreal. Like he had some like MVP
I mean,
type years.
you think of who's on the statues, right? They're there for a reason. We just didn't get to watch them.
There's
Yeah.
one pitcher that keeps slipping my mind.
The Bird.
Fidrich didn't play long enough. Jack Morris didn't play with us long enough. There's one more.
Newhauser.
Hell, Newhauser was up there too. But it's like, because I feel like if I'm going 4, I'm going to name a pitcher. Verlander wins it because we're biased.
Well, but
recency.
it was like
We drafted
Verlander's
him.
on the mound. You were like
You were dialed in. You were tuned in.
dude 7 innings in untouched.
Yeah.
That was like
All
the
those-
norm.
all
I
those
mean,
ALCS World Series runs, he was unreal.
There were so many guys I enjoyed watching play though. Like when Pudge came here,
But
Like,
Pudge
I
changed
loved-
the culture, man.
and I loved when he came here.
Chris
I,
Shelton, Robert Fick.
You know,
Didn't like
you
him.
know who I love playing shortstop. Carlos Guillen.
Yeah.
Always had it. I told you when when he batted right-handed,
He
his
switched
Shaw
to
was in
Shaw.
his left. When he
Yeah.
batted
Dude,
left-handed,
that highlight,
Shaw was in his right.
His play against the Angels, the home run off of Weaver,
He flips
the
the
bat flip, and that was one of the greatest
Yeah.
highlights. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to that era. Like obviously, you got the Mags, Homer. You got all those.
Well, and
but
that's
like,
another one. Like, how do you not put Mags on there for that? Like
Granderson.
Granderson, Austin Jackson.
Right.
if
Right.
if Granderson stays with us longer, like Mags, if the Granderson's with us
Mags
longer,
was there for a while though.
Granderson was my guy though.
Everyone loved Granderson.
And again, it's similar to Verlander. It was a guy that we actually brought through the system, and we didn't have a lot of those at that time. So that was awesome to see.
I always thought he'd come back.
Yeah,
He just played the game the right way, and it was so fun to watch.
And I mean, we lost him, and we got
Austin Jackson.
Austin Jackson. We're like, oh,
what's
I'll
funny
never
is
forget that
okay.
game when Austin Jackson got traded in mid-inning.
we had a good run with the number 28.
I think I
'cause
started crying.
I had a home and an away Granderson jersey. That's how much I liked them. And then he leaves, and we get Prince Fielder, and I'm like, 28. I could switch the name of this jersey to Fielder, and then he leaves, and we get JD Martinez, and I was like, I could switch the name. Like,
another
there's
shit,
another
dude.
one.
But
JD when he left.
my ultimate decision, though, those are a lot of good names. We just named longevity, and Verlander's right on the fence there because he's played almost as long now with other teams. But that's why I go Cobb, K-Line, Miguel Cabrera. They were guys that almost played their entire careers with
Yeah.
the Tigers, and
Yep.
it's not a lot of those.
And then we got the Stones.
This one's
That was going to be fun.
because you got the Bad Boys.
Yeah,
and
man,
the
that's
You
Bad
got a
Boys,
few.
too.
You got a few eras.
we all go Isaiah.
You have. I mean, if you have to take one from the Bad Boys era, Is that
It has to be Isaiah.
For me, it's Isaiah.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone goes. So one's Isaiah for everybody, no matter what. I'm going. Ben Wallace is on mine. I don't give a shit.
Ben and Chauncey are both on mine.
Ben? I mean, having the Mount Rushmore, you got to have Ben with the fro on that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. He's
It's just.
he is on there.
I-
Ben and Chauncey are both on it for me.
Yep. I would.
So then do you go Lambier? Do you go... You can't go Mahorn. I would
Dumars.
say
Dumars.
Dumars or Lambier for that era. Do you go Rashid?
Jerry Stackhouse.
Do you go Rip? No, Stack didn't win anything. Grant Hill didn't win anything.
I love Jerry Stackhouse.
They were the bridge.
I still have the Grant
Yeah,
Hill jersey.
the green
it
one,
looks
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
sports bra on me, but I still have it.
I mean, I loved Rashid, but then I hated Rashid.
Yeah. I think. For now, it's
Tayshaun.
you gotta when you mention Dumars, you gotta factor in his front office years as well.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like. So I go Isaiah, I go Dumars, I go Ben Wallace, and it's probably Chauncey.
Yeah.
What's funny is I was always torn when they were here between Chauncey and Rip. Since then, I've leaned more Chauncey.
Yeah.
I
Well,
do think that
Because Rip put up more points, technically,
yeah,
but Chauncey was that facilitator.
He was Mr. Big Shot.
Yeah.
people that aren't watching the Pistons right now, you got to be on notice that Cade's taking a spot here soon. Like he just re-signed with us, max deal. If he does another one, he's going to be it. But right now, he is unreal. He is.
And that's the other thing is like
just does it.
Isaiah was known, he was a all-star, top tier, whatever. That whole, I mean, I know they made the all-star game, but no one looked at Richard Hamilton, Billups, Ben Wallace as
yeah.
the elite of the elite.
Cade's like diet Luka Doncic right now. Like
Yeah.
he plays
He plays
his own
slow,
pace.
It's just
methodical.
Right.
25 points a game, 10 assists. He's like third in assists in the league.
Right.
He had 6 or 7 rebounds. Like he's borderline averaging a triple double. And at any night he can just take over now, and that's what we're starting to see. Like for a while there was can he win a game in the fourth? Can he? And he's starting to do it. So
Yeah. Josh, who's yours?
Yeah, it's I think it's the same. Isaiah's one. I think you have to put Dumars up there. I mean, he did a shitty job after they won it, but and then Ben Wallace is my all-time number one. I saw so many games for those seasons.
Fucking Palace Vision, dude.
And then it's either it goes back to me of Chauncey or Rashid. Rashid was the piece that put you over, but Chauncey was the driving force. So
Yeah.
I go
And the
Chauncey.
glue that kept that team playing together.
The team was so good. And I still say it. If we did not get rid of Chauncey for AI, and we trade Rashid instead of Chauncey, I think they would have had another championship.
I think they-
Because I think Sheed was when after Chauncey left, Rashid got super selfish, and I felt that during the end of where he's shooting threes, throwing,
Yeah.
and again he was making them.
yeah.
But like
I think we were at that point where we had made the finals,
Every year.
the conference finals, and we weren't getting over the hump. Like, as much as we traded Chauncey for Iverson, it was a contract dump, and they were starting to rebuild.
Yep.
But it sucked.
and they were trying to keep people in there with
I'm surprised nobody put Darko in there.
Jesus Christ.
human victory cigar.
Jesus. I think of Tayshaun's block, like, which is why I brought him up. Like,
Yep.
that block was
Yeah.
like, there were so many big moments in that
It
run.
was a fun time, yeah.
I mean, one of them the spots of that era. I mean, we could talk all day about that team was the year before 03 when Chauncey hits that three against New Jersey to
Yep.
that half court. Like
Yep.
you remember where you were sitting.
I remember where
You know
I
what I
was
mean?
on the floor.
Right, exactly, and they didn't even win that year.
My
I
bad.
don't even think they won that game.
They didn't win
They
that
went
game.
into
They
like
lost in overtime.
Yeah, right.
My brother was at the game, left early, by the way.
Yeah,
Missed the three.
But I mean, think of the teams like that they overcome. They were teams. It was no superstars.
yeah.
J Kidd, Kenyon Martin, whoever else was on that team, and
Yep.
you beat them, and then you
Jefferson.
went to Jefferson, and then you went to the fucking Pacers.
Yep.
Same thing. It was a team.
Yeah.
And then who did you play in the finals? You fucking Spurs, like,
Yeah.
or the Lakers, or
And we're one shot away from back-to-back beating the Spurs that year.
And that era, it was just a different era. Like, what they used to hold people, or they held, was it the Lakers in that finals? They held them to 68 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
68. That's a
Can you
halftime
imagine-
score.
That's
now.
a first quarter score. Sometimes.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous,
68, and that's Kobe, Shaq, Karl Malone, Gary Payton was out, or Karl Malone was out, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
68.
Yeah,
Kobe scores that in a game.
Yeah.
They had a record there where they held like 6 or 7 straight teams under 70
Well,
points. in a season.
remember, it was
what
the
hell?
first one to 70 wins is what the broadcast used to say. And it's like, can the Pistons put up 70 tonight? It's like, what?
Then
they're going to suffocate them on defense.
Then the NBA fell in love with ratings and offense and change the rules.
And all-stars, right?
That's
It was a player-driven league, and that's where they went to. And who's been a team like that since?
yeah,
Team?
Like,
there haven't been many.
I mean,
haven't been.
you could say the
Golden,
Bucks.
I mean, Golden State was a little bit. They had 3. That was more of a big 3.
well,
but,
but that was also through them.
Yeah,
They developed it into
but that's why I said that they were kind
Golden
of
State.
They
you
were
could,
the closest.
You could say the Bucks.
yeah.
the
Bucks were
yeah.
a team. But yeah, superstar-driven league now.
Yep.
Sad.
It is
Well, that
sad.
was fun. So if you did a Detroit one, who would you have?
All time, just Detroit.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell.
Dad Campbell,
Iserman,
Dan Campbell holding a coffee cup.
Iserman, Barry Sanders, Miguel Cabrera, and Isaiah Thomas.
You grab one from each.
Yeah, that's good.
I would have to guard one. From
You
each.
you have to grab one from each.
I feel bad not including. We got too much good history amongst all 4 teams to cut one out.
We do. That's a good one. I think I'm very similar there. Definitely Cabrera. Definitely Barry.
I think the only one I could take off would be Miguel, since they didn't win.
Yeah.
But how do you take a Triple Crown? Just
Who loved
the best hitter that I
ever seen
think
play
I've
the
ever
game.
watched.
Who are you taking them out for?
I mean, that's that.
Bunch of other guys that didn't win.
Well, no. I mean, I could put.
The only one that did.
You could put Ben Wallace. You could put like he won.
Oh, you mean a different sport?
Yeah, different sport.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Does not
honestly
have a
Tiger
baseball
Woods.
on
Yeah,
there.
just not have baseball on there, but Detroit baseball's too.
Yeah, the Old English D's got to be on there.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, that was a good time. Good chat.
That was fun.
I would definitely say Sergey Fedorov would not be on my list, though. He would not be on my 4.
No, Dave.
Shout out to the Nike skates. I almost said Nike cleats again.
Oh,
But the
yeah.
Nike skates,
Those
the
are
Vapors
sick.
are sick.
All whites.
Those were dope.
Yep.
And Anna Kournikova, she was.
I mean, here's the thing.
Blah, 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 blah.
Sergey was sick. Like, say what you want, but
He was incredible. I loved him when he was here. He was my favorite player. I had his jersey.
he was.
very, very random life flashback, and it's funny how much time has changed. There's a bar called, I think it's the Ritz now or something, but it used to be called Hot Rocks, and it was at 10 in Hoover. So 10 in Hoover, it was a rare country bar in the area. I'm probably 7, 8 years old, and my mom calls home and says, "Get all your Sergey Fedorov cards out. He's at the bar right now. I'm coming home to grab them." She came home, and me and my brother were like, gave her like a stack, and she came back with all of them autographed.
That's sick.
That's
He was-
awesome.
He was country line dancing at with
At
Anna,
10 in Hoover?
Yeah, with a hot blonde, and I was like, "That's probably Anna Kournikova, Mom." She's like, "Who's that?" I'm like,
Don't worry
"You
about
wouldn't
it.
understand."
I think. Don't worry about it. I have her poster.
Dude was living a good life. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Just wild.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah. He was the MJ of hockey. I mean, essentially, that's what they try to do with the.
the cleats
the-
and,
the-
or the skates.
And that was
States.
back before like the cell phone era too. Like nowadays, I'd hate to be like a celebrity athlete. You can't
Well,
do shit.
Can you take a
in public,
selfie?
but,
Selfie.
Right.
Anything else over there?
No, I got that's all I got. We got no picks. We got no.
I'll wrap up on our picks. We all went 3-1 last week. Kelly and
go.
I lost the Bills. We took the Bills straight up, even though they didn't cover either way. And Josh lost the Washington game.
Did your best.
He did his
all that
best.
matters.
But we covered the Wings. We covered the Stones. The Stones actually won. And the Wings, it was a 6-goal game. So
Yep.
we
Cool.
covered 5.5. So that's going to wrap up episode 17.
We out.
We appreciate you, as always. Forward down the field and go blue. See
Blue.
you guys.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it now. E-double-L. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like Bledsoe. Ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful. And I got plenty of bread, so I go to bed full. I'm in it to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my cuz, young blood, but we ain't kin. You think of jumping, man, you best think again. The dirty, I'm the type of man that might go broke for